is very obvious in the leadership practice of modeling desired behavior. In plain English, it means that in leadership in developing countries do not match with their counterparts in developed economies in terms of setting good examples to peers and subordinates. This one is interesting, very interesting. And some of the business leaders might not be comfortable with this finding, but this is a statistical finding, not applicable to every individual. This study is significant because this study used evidence-based leadership development strategies. I emphasize this because one obvious and salient advantages of academic study is that you can't rely upon sporadic and individual cases to support your theory about leadership development. This is just what we do in some of the coaching business and in some of the training courses about business leadership in MBA schools, especially in China, in mainland China. We have a focus on case studies. Of course, case studies are good. And actually, a lot of good case studies are coming from the States, from Europe. And they are very much relevant. But trust me, that case study, you have to be very careful about its circumstances, about the environment, about the context. The leadership trait or practice in a specific scenario would never applicable in your specific situation. So that's one important lesson I learned from this study. And secondly, the type of leadership practices that ought to be the focus of leadership development strategy. So we have to be careful that we have lots of leadership practices, but not every type of practice is useful and relevant to our culture. And we have to be careful. Some of the leadership practices are culture sensitive, as I show you in the first slide in this section. The third one is about we should try to figure out which type of leadership practice is related to which type of outcome. So that means leadership practice would be related to certain type of outcome. And it's a function of the environmental variant, which means a very good practice, leadership practice in your situation would achieve some other outcomes unexpectedly for people in other societies and cultures. This is difficult to apprehend, especially in practice. People will not be reminded of such a kind of sharp differences of saying seemingly universal truth, but doesn't work in reality. But still, I'll share with you my critics about this study. Through my 11 years of experience for coaching Chinese expatriates, coaching foreign employees working in China. I believe global leadership is not only relevant to develop his or her own global competence, but also he or she should be aware of the process of the group dynamics, especially in a cross-cultural environment. For example, if you are leading a multicultural team in your country, or if you are leading foreign employees in a foreign country, you have to be very careful that leadership best practice is a very tricky matter. And secondly, I think potential global leadership should be paying attention to balance of hard and soft skills for individuals and organizations. By soft skills, I mean you should grasp soft skills as a presenter, a mediator, and a conciliator in different business situations. In the meanwhile, you have to be possessive of hard skills in the area of your business. And the third one is domestic leadership practice and outcome does not necessarily translate abroad. This one is very important because the best candidates we select from our headquarters abroad most often are the best business managers and the leadership. And we place great hope on them because they are doing good in China or in Japan, Korea. We send them abroad and we are confident they are doing good. So therefore, I'm more than suspicious if developing economies would be as advantageous in terms of motivation, communication, and confidence building when they encounter cultures with different motivational preferences, different confidence building strategies. I'll go back to our previous. Here, you could see the first leadership practice, organizational visioning, indicating that Asian companies are very good in their scores, in their outcome scores. But actually, if this Asian company is leading a multicultural task force or multicultural team, it would be dubious. It would be another story. I believe the scientists doing this research are conducting their experiences, targeting the domestic business organizations. And likewise, the last cluster of bars, confidence building practice, a developing country also score higher than developed economies. I'm still suspicious about what they would score in a multicultural situation. Let's go back, yes. So last one. In another development, one German economist called Dr. Joseph Wieland developed a model integrating all prominent conceptual relations in cross-cultural research based on his theoretical framework of relational economy. So he's an economist, and his specialty is relational economy. In his theory, transculturalism is built into the implicit rules of communication and management practices at the level of institutions. And transculturalism is manifested by interculturalism at individual level and multiculturalism at organizational level. For detailed description, you could see the explanation in these circles. Actually, these three words are buzzwords in the cultural psychology and intercultural communication. These are the best quotes, my favorite quotes from Dr. Joseph. He said, 70% of world trade is not controlled by a market, but among organizations. This comment, this observation, shocked me when I first heard them. Global market is controlled by free trade. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the formulation and development of global value chain. But in terms of the agencies, the practitioners of these trade and business transactions, it is organizations who are doing the job. So that's why organizational behavior and the theme of this conference, this meeting, organizational development, are very much relevant in today's world where business are striving to achieve global business leadership. A second quote of my favorite is, culture is not a management tool or constraint or enabler for business. It is directly a part of economic transactions due to its role in value creation. I like the word value creation because business is about value creation. It's a very sophisticated interaction in terms of psychology, sociology, politics, international relations. No other activities could be more sophisticated than this. And in every link, at every level, at every stage, at every moment, everywhere, people are judgmental. People are emotional. And people are confrontational. So that's why Dr. Joseph is more than correct in saying that culture is everywhere within all the transaction activities. This observation, I think, is very much useful to the global leadership